Hello and welcome to the news update on VOP TV. I am Moses Humphrey. Now, the federal government on Tuesday said it was considering the growing demand for the establishment of an international anti-corruption court, describing it as a paradigm shift in its approach to fighting corruption at the global level. The government stated that the corrosive impact of corruption on Nigeria's development, stability, and prosperity could not be overstated. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, represented by a Deputy Director of Public Prosecution, Yusuf Abdullahi Abdul Qadri, stated this in his speech delivered in Abuja during the 33rd Anti-Corruption Situation Room. Now, this was organized by Human and Environmental Development Agenda, also known as HIDA, Resource Center, in collaboration with Integrity Initiatives International, while describing corruption in all its ramifications as a great threat to the stability, progress, and development of nations around the world. The AGF said graft was a cancer that knows no boundaries, undermines trust, weakens institutions, hampers economic growth, and perpetuates social injustice. The Lagos State Assembly has renewed interest in the case of the late Ms. Bamiche Anyonwola, the 22-year-old fashion designer who was murdered after boarding a bus, a rapid transit, that's BRT, in the state in February 2022. Now, to this end, the House would be inviting the family of the deceased, the related government agency, and the Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, CDHR, for an update on the case, which has been in the court. The Speaker of the House, Chief Mudashiru Abasa, said the issue, which was brought up by Steve Ogundipe under matters of urgent public importance, was worthy of deliberation. Chief Abasa commended the CDHR for bringing the issue to the fore again, nearly 2 years after it happened. He noted that if the family of Bolanle Rahim, the lawyer who was murdered by a policeman in December 2022, could get justice, there should also be justice for Bamiche. The Speaker thanked the police for how far they had gone with the case involving the death of Mohbad. The federal government has suspended all activities by the two factions of the National Union of Road Transport Workers. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Simon Lalong, issued the directive in Abuja. He stated that all activities of the unions, including election and their day-to-day operations, remain suspended, pending the amicable resolution of their dispute. Recently, a faction of the union led by Alhaji Tajuddin Agbede forcefully took over the National Secretariat of the union at Garki 2 and dislodged the incumbent president, Alhaji Tajuddin Ibikunle Baruwa. Baruwa and 3 other national officers of the union were recently detained in Abuja by the police over the leadership crisis rocking the union. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Tuesday swore in Olabode Agoro as the 22nd head of civil service of the state. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony, which was held at the Lagos House, Ikeja, the governor noted that the office of the head of service carries a lot of responsibilities. He stressed that although the Lagos State Public Service had a great reputation for competence amongst its peers, there was still much to be done to continuously raise the bar of professionalism and to ensure prompt, effective, and efficient service delivery that meets global standards. In his remarks, Aguru thanked the governor for his appointment, pledging to work hard to take the state's public service to greater heights. As another flood crisis threatens to wreak havoc across the country, President Tinubu has directed an immediate plan of action to mitigate its impact. A statement issued by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkwacha, said President Tinubu also appointed Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello as chairman of the committee. According to the statement, the committee will produce a roadmap by harmonizing the recent National Economic Council (NEC) report on flood, the 2022 National Flood Emergency Preparedness and Response Plan, as well as other national reports on flood. The Deputy Governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Akon Eyakenyi, will serve as Vice Chairman of the committee, which is expected to submit its recommendations within 7 days. The decision was taken after an emergency meeting presided over by Vice President Kashim Shettima. President Tinubu gave marching orders to the committee for an action plan on all the reports, saying it was best to be proactive than to be reactive. Shettima noted that a feasible roadmap would address the flood crisis in Nigeria, adding that responsibilities would be shouldered by the Northeast Development Commission (NEDC), Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC), and the federal government. The special advisor to the president on NEC and climate change, Rufai, will serve as secretary of the committee. In business now, to curb the incessant oil theft, the Nigerian Upstream Regulatory Commission (NUPRC) has introduced an advanced cargo declaration regime in upstream petroleum operations. The commission also announced plans to reactivate shut-in wells, as well as initiatives to increase oil and gas production. The commission's chief executive officer, Benga Komolafe, broke the news at the annual International Strategic Conference organized by the Association of Energy Correspondents of Nigeria, NAEC, in Lagos, represented by Abel Nsa, head of the National Oil and Gas Excellence Center, NOGEC. NUPRC, Komolafe said, the initiative is aimed at ensuring that crude oil and gas exports have a unique identifier that confirms documentation of exports. He also stated that NUPRC had deployed key resources to the Special Investigative Unit of the Commission to forestall sharp practices by operators. Komolafe added that the agency had begun the implementation of the drill or drop provision with a review of assets which had been underdeveloped by operators. He stated that ongoing mini-bid round for 7 deep offshore petroleum prospecting licenses, PPLs, would boost the nation's reserves, as well as bring about anticipated benefits to the nation and other stakeholders. On reduction in unit cost per barrel and revenue, he explained that the Commission is committed to ensuring a significant reduction in the cost of doing business in the upstream petroleum industry. The Naira fell further on Tuesday as it exchanged for the dollar at the parallel markets between 1,005 Naira per dollar and 1,025 per dollar. Owners of small-scale enterprises, Nigeria Employers Consultative Association, and manufacturers expressed concern about the falling value of the Naira, warning that it would lead to the shutting down of factories and attendant job losses. The Naira has maintained a downward trend since the Central Bank of Nigeria allowed a free float of the national currency against the dollar and other global currencies in June. Now, this decline has further led to manufacturers struggling to get raw materials, with more companies planning to sack more workers or shut down. With the declining Naira value, manufacturers are faced with cutting production, jobs, and raw materials. In foreign news now, the Israeli military said it is responding to fire from Syria with artillery and mortar shelling. The military said on Tuesday that an unidentified projectiles were fired from Syria and appear to have fallen in an open area. The flare-up comes as Israel is striking in Gaza in response to a stunning attack by Hamas and as exchanges of fire with the Lebanese Hezbollah have continued. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a Britain-based opposition war monitor, said a Palestinian faction conducted the rocket attack from Syrian territory. Israeli warplanes hammered the Gaza Strip neighborhood by neighborhood on Tuesday, reducing buildings to rubble and sending people scrambling to find safety in the tiny, sealed-off territory now suffering severe retaliation for the deadly weekend attack by Hamas militants. Humanitarian groups pleaded for the creation of corridors to get aid into Gaza, warning that hospitals were overwhelmed with wounded people running out of supplies. Israel has stopped entry of food, fuel, and medicines into Gaza, and the sole remaining access from Egypt shut down Tuesday after airstrikes hit near the border crossing. The war, which has claimed at least 1,900 lives on both sides, is expected to escalate. And that's the news update on VOP TV. We'd like you to subscribe and engage us on YouTube. It's Voice of the People TV. And on other social media channels, it is at VOP TV Live. I'm Moses Humphrey. Good morning.